Good morning. I'm Jen Haston, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of bringing the silly. What do I mean? Well, hold on, I'll show you. Ta-da! One little motion can make a big difference. Let me give you a real-time example. This morning, instead of wearing the dress that my daughter picked out last night that was appropriate for the 70-degree weather we're going to have later, I now have to convince her to wear a sweater. So I'm going to walk in and say, "Oh my goodness, booga, 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 the abominable snowman is coming to get you because it's really cold outside," which sounds ridiculous to say to an adult. But to a 5-year-old, I'm fine. Because the truth is that she loves the silly. She enjoys it so much. In fact, when I was talking to her about what I was going to talk about today, she suggested talking about the silliness. So, in talking about a topic like bringing the silly, it's important to talk about why that's vital. Even if you're not a parent, there's lots of times where we could bring the silly. Look for that moment of connection, because connection is so vital. It's what we need, right? So, for instance, yesterday I was sitting in a meeting, and something that I do in meetings is I sing a little song. Maybe I'll hum a tune. I'll ask somebody what, I see you're wearing an interesting color, really like your Zoom background. What's that about? So just connectors, right? So it's a formula I've used for years, and it's called FOIL. You may be familiar with FOIL from your math days, but this is actually my formula for connecting with people. So the first thing you can talk about is family. The next thing you can talk about is occupation, work. You're at work, it's simple. Third thing you can talk about is interest. And the fourth thing you can talk about is location. It's a little trickier with virtual meetings to talk about location because, let's face it, we're all in different locations, but you might hear a dog bark. You might hear a baby cry. You might hear some things in the background, like people doing maintenance on a yard, or you hear something in the background. Comment on it. Connect with the person in front of you. The other day, someone commented on the fact that I had a blanket on. It was really, really cold. And someone else was like, "Oh, I totally forgot. I have this space heater that I could use." And like this conversation, while not work related, led to more connection amongst all of us. And I think that while we work so hard to talk to each other, work with each other, we forget sometimes to bring the connection. And so I have actually had this for many, many years, and it's something that I bring out when people are being entirely too serious. It's a reminder for me as I walk into my day, as I start parenting my child today. I need to bring the silly before I ask her what to do. Now, that may not work for you. Like, you may be like, "That's just not for me." That's fantastic. What is it that you do that works for you to connect with people? What do you do? Think about it and share with me in the comments. I'd love to hear other ways that people connect. Another thing that I have done for years, as I ask people, "Where did you work before this?" It's a great way to know more about their knowledge and what they bring to the table, because you're not assuming that you know what they come from. The other day, it sparked a very interesting conversation with one of my coworkers who used to work in a place where they did a lot of research on healthcare patients. They have an extensive healthcare background. And one of the things that she said was like, "Oh, wow, that's interesting. How do you know that?" And then she went into all this detail about her background, which I'm obviously not going to share. HIPAA. But it was a really great way to connect and understand more about where she's coming from. So my message today, while it is bring the silly, it's also bring yourself. Whatever it is that makes you different, whatever it is that makes you you, don't hesitate to bring that to a conversation, because you never know where it can lead. There are lots of conversations I have had lately that have been extremely fruitful that started out with a question of, oh, I see your background is X. You know, what made you choose it? And something that I do is for every Zoom meeting that I'm in, I choose a different Zoom background. It is deliberate to make that conversation happen. So, what am I telling you today? Well, I'm telling you to bring the silly. I'm telling you to find ways to connect with people. And whatever your silly is, that's you. Whatever it is, that's you. One of my dear friends tells a joke. That's his way to connect. And I think that it's a great way to connect because people either love it or they hate it, or they think it's kind of funny and then they think, oh, that reminds me of a joke. So what can you do today to bring the you to every conversation you're in? I'm Jen Haston, and this has been Haston Helping Hands.